And welcome back to Comic Frontline, everybody. I am Brant Fowler, aka the Gonzogoose, back with you for another review, another Marvel Legacy review. We're talking Daredevil, issue number 595. This is written by Charles Soule, with art by Stefano Landini, colors by Matt Murdock, letters by BC's Clayton Cowles, and main cover art by Bill Sienkiewicz. Now, this is an interesting story, and I will preface this by saying that I have not read Daredevil in a while. I dropped the book during I can't remember the name of the character. There was the Nine Fingers or Ten Fingers clan thing, the whole storyline that was going on with that. It just wasn't grabbing me, so I have not read it since. And I decided with Marvel Legacy I would give it a shot. And this story arc is entitled Mayor Fisk, and it's about, of course, the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, becoming the mayor of Hell's Kitchen, and Daredevil having to cope with this because Daredevil, or actually Matt Murdock, has been tasked with building a case against his own alter ego, Daredevil, and it's a very interesting story to go to tell. And it's obvious that, the Kingpin knows that Daredevil and Matt Murdock are connected, whether he knows they're the same person or not. He knows they're connected, and he knows that Matt Murdock is a champion of the superhero. And his whole campaign is to rid Hell's Kitchen of superheroes. And there's a lot of people that are on his side. Now, obviously, this book is, delving into some of the political things that are going on in real life. It's kind of pulling from that in a subtle way, and you see that because it's beyond people's comprehension that Wilson Fisk was nominated and voted on by the people, and it's because of that common ground that they have with him, even though he is a crook and a criminal and all this stuff. And so you could pull some stuff from real life and make that comparison if you look deep enough into it. But this Wilson Fisk is an interesting character to do that with, because it makes total sense that that's where he would go. In storytelling and fiction, not getting into the real life aspects of it, but in fiction, it's common to have dirty politicians and dirty cops and dirty things like that. It's a popular thread to pull on in fiction, and Wilson Fisk is built for that. He built an empire, and now he's mayor. And Matt Murdock is trying to deal with this, and how does he build this case against himself? And obviously he's going to confront Kingpin about it, and there's going to be this whole story going forward as the two are at odds but having to work together at the same time, and Matt Murdock realizing that everybody around him is kind of against him in one way or another. And him and Foggy are on the outs in this, and the cops are trying to bring him in. Cops are on Fisk's payroll now because he is the mayor. And it's interesting too that because of the popularity of the Netflix show, that art-wise they've really kind of not full-on likenesses, but you can definitely tell the influence from the Netflix series of the way that Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock are drawn. They look much more like their live-action counterparts now, which that's a common thing that happens when you have a popular multimedia property like a TV show or a movie, and it gets kind of copied over into the comics a little bit. But I don't think they're pulling totally from that story, just kind of the look to kind of, if somebody walked in that was familiar with the show and never read the comic and they picked it up, it's familiar to them and they have that connection. So, this story was very interesting the way it was done, and it was a great starting point. It was a great jumping on point if you haven't been reading Daredevil for a while. They gave you a little recap of just a few little things, not everything that's happened, but just where his status is right now, what his status is with Foggy and with his law firm, and as the with the DA and all this stuff. And they laid out the groundwork of his, being at odds with Wilson Fisk. And that's what you need. And by the end of the issue, without spoiling anything, you know where Daredevil stands in this, and you know where Kingpin stands and where they stand with each other. And that's all you really need to know about this issue. The art is beautiful. It's dark and gritty. It's like muted tones, which fits with the vibe of Hell's Kitchen and with Daredevil in general. I'm a big fan of Mark Waid's run on Daredevil. This is completely different, but in a good way. It's not so dark and so heavy that you get overwhelmed by it, but it's got just the right amount of heaviness to kind of paint that picture of the dilemma that he's facing right now, which is the story that Charles Soule is trying to tell. He is facing a huge dilemma, and it's having these repercussions on both his normal life and his extracurricular life. And the color palette really illustrates that nicely. And I don't know, I thought it was a really great jumping on point. So I'm giving high marks for this. I'm going to give Daredevil number 595 a 4 out of 5. So I recommend you checking it out if you haven't read Daredevil in a while. If you're a Daredevil fan, I think you're going to like this. If you're a Kingpin fan, I think you're going to like this version of Kingpin as well. So check this one out. And that's going to wrap it up for my review of Daredevil number 595. Again, a 4 out of 5 for that one. Check out all the other reviews and all the other content here on Comic Frontline, and tune in Tuesday nights to watch us discuss our top 5, and you can join in the conversation in the chat and share your top 5 with us as well. And if you'd be so kind, go check out Kickstarter.LastEmberPress.com. That will take you right to the Kickstarter page for my book, The Last Ember, which is going on now as this post. Just a few days left. It ends November 17th. We're really close up. Hopefully at this point we're close to 70% or around there funding, so not too long to go. So go check that out, and you can find more info at LastEmberPress.com, and you can follow me at Brant Fowler on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and check out my weekly series Monday Musings. So until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.